This is not your mom and dad's Jacksonville Jaguars. They continue to gut what has been really just an awful program, just a terrible franchise. Inventing ways to lose games. We know that over the last 10 years, they're the losingest franchise in team athletics. Not only in the NFL, but that includes the NHL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA. So you got to find a way to just weed out losers. That's the best way to say it, right? Losing became accepted around here. And it was so bothersome to you, the diehard Jaguars fans. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. This football team accepted losing a year ago. This football team, much of which is gone now. I mean, nearly half the players no longer on this roster, looked at you a year ago and laughed right in your face. I mean, they just were in stitches. They said to one another, watch this. We're going to put a doom and gloom on Jaguars fans before the season even begins. We're going to drop a 0-4 on you in the month of September. We're going to take everything away from you right as it begins. That's what the 2024 Jaguars said. Terrible coaching staff, terrible aroma, offensive and defensive players who refused to play complementary football. It was just one thing after another. So, enter Baselli, enter Gladstone, enter Liam Cohen, enter 25 brand new players. A 53-man roster. You have 25 new players. Now, you can put an asterisk by Trammell because he came up for a cup of coffee last year. And you can put an asterisk by Braswell because he came up for a cup of coffee a year ago. So technically you could say 23. I'm looking at it as 25. Put it this way. If it was college football, those two both would have been redshirted, right? They barely played. So it's 25 new guys. And I just went over with Hayes. We said 22, 28. I actually have written down here 23, 27 with 3 specialists. Either way, Travis Hunter counts on both sides of the football. What you have to ask yourself now is, where is this team? And what is the ultimate goal, right? Right now, the ultimate goal is to beat Carolina on opening day, to give this town a shot of something that will help your mental health, because that is so important for this fan base. Again, you can never look at a game one and say, oh, you have to win that one. There's 16 more. That'd be foolish. But I'm talking about for the state of the city, after what I just described to you would happen a year ago, September. It was just god-awful. It really was. You need that victory against Carolina. This is a football franchise that a year ago scored 18.8 points a game. Miserable. Okay? I mean, that's a divorce right there. You can't new baby me. You can't move from the, south side to the west side to me. I mean, that is a divorce, an 18.8. That is horrible. That is absolutely pathetic. And that is what this offense averaged a year ago. Defensively, you gave up 25-6. Congratulations, guys. Stand up and take a freaking bow. How much have they improved on both sides of the football field? What will the Liam Cohen, with the addition of Trent Udinsky, what will that provide offensively when you got a measly 18.8 a game? How about defensively, right? Anthony Campanelli, it appears that they're going to move guys around a lot. We're going to see some blitzes. We're going to see a totally new style in the contain as far as the coverage scheme is concerned. How much do you improve there at 25.6? As bad as Jacksonville was a year ago, we know all the numbers. We know all the losses of 7 points or less. You up it a few points offensively. You lower it a few points defensively. You got a chance to win half those games. You win half those games, you're sitting around 8-9 wins. That could end up being enough to get you the AFC South divisional champion. We'll see. So, anyway, really good day. Not a shock today. because of what we witnessed in Miami. Again, if I was doing this roster, and I did it on Friday, I had both Green and Strigo cut. I said at that point, priority number one for me as far as practice squad was LaQuindon Jackson. He for me is number one. And number two would have been Green Jr., but Green Jr. ends up making the team, and we'll see what's going to happen now. What is next for the Jacksonville Jaguars? And Austin Trammell makes it. Trenton Irwin does not. There are 5 wide receivers right now on this roster. We know that one of those wide receivers also plays defensive back. You have to believe that they are going to address something there at wide receiver. And, if it's a veteran, then he's free to sign with any team. If it is getting through waivers, then Jacksonville steps up and they can claim at the number 5 spot, same spot that they had in the NFL draft. But when I look at this, absolutely, 5 is in a real good shape to go out and get a guy. And, I keep an eye on Austin Trammell. Will they try to bring Trenton Irwin back and put him on the practice squad? I would think that yes. Again, in my mind, Irwin and Trammell, what they really are is number 4 wide receivers, right? You don't expect a lot out of them on special teams, but they're guys who have played in this league and they have caught balls, particularly Irwin. So if you can bury him on the practice squad, and then if someone goes down, he moves into, I think, the number 4 wide receiver spot where Washington moves up one if someone does go down. It just doesn't make sense to keep him on the roster if he's not a special teams guy, right? And right now it feels like they don't have a special teams wide receiver. Pancol today was waived injured, and Jacksonville has waived players injured and brought them back. They did so with Cooper Hodges a couple of months ago, and they did a week or so ago with Joshua Cephas. So there's a chance that happens with Eli Pancol. I mean, they have other opportunities to go on out and test waters, and obviously agents right now are working hard for each and every team in the NFL, but I think that is realistic when you look at wide receiver. 9 offensive linemen. Could they, add a 10th? I was really surprised by this when it came to Cole Van Lanen, because I was under the impression that he was a ways away. Either that is wrong and he's close, or they just looked at this and said, we feel comfortable enough about Wyatt Milam as a swing tackle, swing guard guy. We feel comfortable enough that whoever does not win that starting right guard job, can be a swing guard and a swing tackle. That's one thing you look at with Macari. As a matter of fact, the least amount of snaps he's ever had in the NFL, believe it or not, in Baltimore, was as a right guard. Patrick Macari's had more snaps at left tackle, left guard, center, and right tackle than he has at right guard. So if he doesn't win that job, and if you look at the contract, if you look at the salary, it's like, yeah, you got to play him, right? And ego does get involved in this. But you could also look at Ed Oga, who's a bargain, in the way that he's played. So whoever doesn't win that job, I think they feel really comfortable about that individual being, the swing guard and swing tackle. It's kind of rare to have a situation like that. Typically, you have a swing guard who's set, and you have a swing tackle who is set. We all know last year that Cole Van Lanen, was that guy, and he got some valuable experience. But I was a little bit surprised by that. I thought that there was an IR move that possibly could have happened there. The Jaguars did put a couple of rookies on the IR. Caleb Ransaw, and unfortunately for him, the season is lost. They made that move today, placing him on the injured reserve. No ability for him to return. Like with Jalen McLeod, another rookie, they placed him on the injured reserve, but he does have the ability to return. He must miss a minimum of 4 weeks. Got to miss 4 football games. There's a chance McLeod comes back. But for Ransaw, it legitimately becomes a redshirt season. You know, reminds me of Cooper Hodges a couple of years ago. Kind of reminds me of Ventrell Miller a couple of years ago, right? And, yeah, I think there's a real chance here. I will never know the answer to the question, but I think they really were leaning on Ransaw this year to be a big part of that second safety. It's been very competitive. And, you know, Ray Lane makes the team now as a special teamer. Daniel Thomas, as we know, was cut. But you look at Antonio Johnson and Dewey and Darnell Savage, those three still battling for that number 2 safety spot, as we know, next to Eric Murray. So a couple of transactions there for the Jaguars. Again, Ransaw gone for the year. Jalen McLeod, the ability to come back after 4 weeks. All right. We're going to be busy here over the next couple of hours. The roster is set. We'll go through what they did. It also, right now, is a very fair question to look at this 53-man roster and say, how much is it going to change later in the week? How many guys are coming in off of other rosters? And, you know, right now I keep it around 1, maybe 2. That's just the way that I look at it. I could be dead wrong. They could add 4 for all we know. We'll see. But it's a good opportunity for you to get involved here and give us your thoughts on what you saw with the Jaguars roster. Again, 641-1010 text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also, let's welcome those watching on YouTube tonight at 1010XL. In and tonight, I do want to tell you that the opening comments every night are brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. Okay, it's been raining a whole heck of a lot as of late. You know what that means? Things are falling all over your lawn. Make sure you put shades on. You know, you'd be surprised at the accidents. When Dr. Neil Shmunez told me about it, I was surprised to hear. You're actually supposed to wear safety goggles. My guess is that less than 2% of you actually do something like that. But throw on a pair of shades. You got shrubbery, you got sticks, you got brush, you got all sorts of stuff. You don't want to catch one in the eye and obviously have that become a huge problem. When you go to Shmunez Vision, get yourself the very latest as far as a prescription, right? And then while you're there, you may be a candidate for laser eye surgery, which is very affordable. Just imagine the rest of your life never having ever to look for contacts or readers or take out your contacts when you pass out. It's 2020 for the rest of your days. Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. John Hunt, combined more than 37 years worth of experience. Just check him out online. Go to Shmunez Vision, or you can go to Instagram as well and go to Shmunez Vision. All right, when we come back, let's dive into this thing. Let's look at what they did position-wise. Let's look at what they did to change the entire culture of this football franchise, which absolutely had to happen. And where are the Jaguars right now? Going to be a lot of fun, at least for me, it is, over the next couple of hours. Glad you have joined us.
Get more Gators
and more Prosser and Hickett, unfiltered
football insight, analysis, and critique from your breakfast buddies on the Swamp Sessions podcast
from Voodoo Brewing Company.
Right after every game.
Streamed live on the 1010XL social channels.
Driven by Atlantic Infinity.
Hi, I'm John Haney from Clearwater Gutters and Drainage. After heavy rains, the problems are obvious. Mulch blown out of your beds, water standing around your foundation, and that fancy new crater back behind your bushes. Let Clearwater Seamless Gutters help you solve the problem spots.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters.
And drainage, too. Find out more at clearwaterjacks.com. Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, or Beaver Mitsubishi in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
The Friday night lights are shining even brighter as 1010XL has partnered with Channel 4 to bring you Friday Night Lights, a live streaming show at 7 o'clock every Friday, presented by Farrah and Farrah on the social media channels of 1010XL and Channel 4.
Hey, Hickett here for my friends at Cleaning Freaks at Zero Res. Great time of the year to get your house Zero Resified. And right now, you can get your entire home cleaned from Jacksonville's ultimate carpet cleaner. You'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $135. Plus, they're throwing in a free hallway and take $100 off the air duct cleaning. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee. Man, it's incredible. Just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. I was so impressed. It's about connecting with nature, with food, with community. And now you can own your very own handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm. Everything you need is there. You'll hardly need to go grocery shopping. Learn more about all of it at okefarm.com. That's OKEfarm.com, the farm at Okefenokee.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
How are we feeling? I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, it has so often been said that when we used to have signing day on that first Wednesday of February, just about every coach would say, I wouldn't trade this class for anything. But when you set a 53-man roster, where are you with it? Was there some obvious misses here, in your opinion, for the Jaguars? Is this basically where you thought it would be? Okay, how much will they add coming up here the next couple of days as well? All very important. All right, tonight's show is brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. Rick Alexander's a huge Jaguars fan. I've known him for quite some time, but here's the deal. You may be alone on this. You may be suffering, okay? Or if it's not you, it may be a colleague, it may be a friend, it may be a family member. If you've been injured, personally injured, and that is especially true when it comes to being in your vehicle, and it happened because the other individual was careless, and you're on the receiving end of it. Your car may be totaled. You may not be able to get to work. You may not be able to pay bills, okay? Pick up the phone. Alexander Law Practice, 400-6600, free call. Not only that, they're going to call you right back, immediately call you back. And on top of that, you're going to get the individualized attention that you deserve. Ask questions. You'll never come out of pocket at Alexander Law Practice. You need your car fixed? That's a question to ask. You need bills paid? That's the type of question that you do ask. Again, you'll never come out of pocket, and you're going to get that individualized care that you deserve. That is Alexander Law Practice. Again, check them out online. Go to Alexander Law Practice or 400-6600 for a free call and a free consultation. Dylan Denmark is here. Anything blow you away with the 53-man roster?
No, I mean, Muma getting released was not a surprise. Jordan Jefferson being released, I guess, would be the only kind of like you barely raise an eyebrow at. But once they traded for Saunders, you knew that they were going to get rid of a couple of the interior defensive line. I mean, I go back to the beginning of training camp. I kind of feel the same as I did about this team, you know, whatever that was 6-7 weeks ago as compared to now. I think this football team will probably win 7 or 8 games, and having Ransall getting hurt and being done for the year really hurts this team.
Yeah, he's a guy that they absolutely were leaning on. He was their second overall pick, number 88 in this year's draft. Every member of this draft class makes the team. You have Hunter. You put Caleb Ransaw on the season-ending IR. Wyatt Milam is a guy that I think will be a starter on the offensive line next year. Okay? I just think that is going to happen. Tootin, the conversation continues about the 4 backs. And if they can play special teams, even though last week Liam Cohen said only 3 are going to get a game day jersey, I think it makes sense if they're your best 48 to keep both rookies on the Sunday roster. Jack Kaiser has really performed well. He's a guy you're going to see on special teams as a 4-core guy, and he's going to be fighting for some playing time, Jack Kaiser. I really believe he's a big part of the future here. I mean, the guys that I'm mentioning, and I know you can probably say that about every rookie draft class in all 32 cities, or I guess there's only 30 cities, right? Because there's 2 teams in New York and 2 in Los Angeles. But that's kind of what most are saying. But it really feels like it applies here. Jalen McLeod, there's a wild card. I have no idea. Absolutely none. IR, got to miss at least 4 games. And then you look at the late picks, and they're like contributors. Ray Lane, wouldn't be surprised if he's a starting gunner. With Daniel Thomas now gone, him and Antonio Johnson, I think, are the gunners. Possibly Christian Braswell. We'll see. But if not, Ray Lane. And again, you got to decide, who do you scratch? Which 5 do you scratch? Who do you have ready, on game day as far as your 48? But Ray Lane, to me, is replacing Daniel Thomas. So he absolutely is playing on Sunday. And his responsibility is special teams. Jonah Monheim, they love him. 7th-round pick. And, of course, every show we talk about LaQuint Allen Jr., a guy that might be really involved in this as a rookie this year as well. So the rookie draft class, before they've even played a game, it looks like it has really worked for this organization. And, the Trent Balky era is gone, and it continues to rear its ugly head. My math, he had 37 draft picks here, years 2021 through 2024. I have 19 of his picks still on the team. So that's about 50% of his draft picks over 4 years that are still here. That's and it's not like a lot of guys ran away as free agents and signed huge deals, right? I mean, really, the only one I can think of is Luke Farrell. Cisco got a 1-year deal, a show-me deal in New York, but, it's not like guys outpriced the market. And, you even go back to a year ago. You got 4 guys who could be huge, but that's it. 4 of the 9. Thomas Jr. is here. Mason Smith is here. Jarian Jones is here. 6th-round Cam Little is here. Okay? 4 that when you rank, positions on teams, Thomas may be number 1. Cam Little, I know, we don't spend a lot of time talking about punters and kickers unless they miss, but what a phenomenal weapon. And then you look at the opportunity for Mason Smith really to, enhance his game during his second season. And Jarian Jones has been very consistent. But Javon Foster, gone. Jordan Jefferson, gone. Deontay Prince, gone. Keelan Robinson, gone. Miles Cole, gone. I mean, they cut 4 players in the last day and a half, right? From last year's draft class. Javon Foster, Jordan Jefferson, Deontay Prince, and Miles Cole. All gone. I mean, what does that say about what they did a year ago? And again, I think Javon Foster was just terrible. I thought Jordan Jefferson had a chance. Maybe a little surprised that both him and Lacey were sent packing. I don't know if they'll try to bring him, either one of the 2, back and put him on the practice squad. They may be upset right now and saying to their agent, hell no, I want to go in a different direction. Find me a new football team. Deontay Prince is a guy that I think they would like to try to bring back and put on the 16 team practice squad. As a matter of fact, I may go as far as to say I'd put him at number 2 or 3 without any question, the running back Jackson is, in my opinion, the priority, the first guy that you're going to put on the practice squad. Miles Cole as well, a guy who looks the part, just can't play. That is scary if you look at last year's class. 2023 was Balky's best draft. I mean, you still have Harrison Strange, Bigsby, Miller, Abdullah, Johnson, Washington, and Braswell. So 8 guys have made the team. Christian Braswell is an example of developing a player. Okay? And that was under the former regime. But I thought he was one of the best players a year ago at the Miller Electric Center. I was surprised he did not make the team. Spent a year on the practice squad, got called up, played very limited amounts of football. Now he really figures into this thing. Something else to consider, and I'm counting the numbers again. I got 23 on offense, 27 on defense, and, of course, Hunter goes on both offense and defense. The Sam linebacker position. Could they get better there? They really love Gardeck. But I don't know about Yasir Abdullah. They've moved him around a lot. He certainly has the speed. He's another guy that is a big part of things on special teams. And I think when you really consider the Sam linebacker position, how much are they truly going to be in base, right? They're going to be in a lot of nickel coverage and even some dime coverage because this is a passing league. So maybe it isn't a huge priority. But I just think it's fair to look at that spot and say possibly a change could happen there. The same applies to edge. I mean, you got 6 edges right now. I mean, last year they had 2. And you were asking like Eric Armstead and whomever. I mean, Balky did such an awful job at defensive end. Well, you brought in Ogba and you brought back Smoot. So you got 4 veterans, and then you got the 2 undrafted rookies who made the team in Strigo and B.J. Green. And, it's risky to cut one of them and hope that you can push them through waivers. It is. That's obviously while they're on the team right here today. But I think you have to look at that and realistically say, all right, if they do make a move, it's going to be at wide receiver, and it's going to be perhaps one less body on the edge. That would be my way of looking at it. So back to that 2023 class. Tyler Lacey cut today, 4th-round pick. Eric Hallett, Raymond Vohasek, and Derek Parrish have been long gone. So that was his best draft. 8 out of 12 are still around here. Cooper Hodges on the IR. So that, Balky, that was a good year. And if you look at what could happen, the key word here is could. Anton Harrison, where's his game going to go this year? Brenton Strange, where's his game going to go now as the true number 1 tight end? Tank Bigsby. Every night we have a conversation about Tank and ETN on these airways. Ventrell Miller, he's just a good football player. You're a better team with a healthy Ventrell Miller. He makes plays. You just wish that he wouldn't get nicked up. We just talked about Antonio Johnson. I mean, you could write any script right now, and I probably believe it when it comes to Antonio Johnson. That he sees the light, this new defensive scheme, playing in zone coverage, works for him, and he begins to make plays. Or it could be another deal where he's just ridiculously out of place. Parker Washington, most consistent wide receiver in camp. Christian Braswell, spoke on him. 2023 is a good year. And again, could is the legitimate word there. How many of those guys are going to step forward beginning next week against Carolina? 2022 is an absolute disaster. I mean, you've got Trayvon Walker and Devin Lloyd. And Devin Lloyd's got 1 foot out the door, right? Luke Fortner, gone. Chad Muma, gone. Man, wasted 3rd-round picks. That is so embarrassing, man. Luke Fortner and Chad Moon. Snoop Connor gone. Gregory Jr. gone. Buster Brown not placed on the IR. He's on the 53-man roster. Therefore, they must think he's close. That's 2022. And then let's wrap it up with 2021 as we know the top 4 guys still here. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Tyson Campbell, Walker Little. Cisco, Tufele, Jordan Smith, Luke Farrell no longer on this team. 19 of the 37 picks by Trent Balky are here. That's nearly 50%. Again, everyone from this year's draft class is on the roster, and that includes 2 players who begin the year on the IR. Caleb Ranshaw gone for the season. Jalen McLeod, an opportunity to return after 4 games. All right, let's grab some of your thoughts on this roster. Bring it to us right now. The best way to do it is on our text line. It's 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also on YouTube tonight. You can go there. Just go to YouTube and 1010XL into the Nights.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is the final week of Beards Diamond's incredible free finance offer. Hicken here. This week only, make any purchase, spread those payments over 5 years without a dime in interest payments. Not just on engagement rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry. Buy now, pay nothing down, spread your payments over 5 years. Such a smart way to buy and nobody else can do it. 5 years, 0 interest. You can even finance the sales tax. All GIA certified diamonds are included in this. I'm talking rounds, princess cuts, ovals, pear-shaped, cushion cuts, emerald cuts. You get the idea. Whether you get a $5,000 diamond or a $50,000 diamond, spread those payments over 5 whole years. Get the Beards Diamond's unbeatable price. Pay 0 down, spread your payments over 5 years. Lots of folks are doing this, but time is running out. The offer ends on Sunday and will not be extended. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center. Shop local, shop Beards.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through August 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mack and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars, to trucks, to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Cassa Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
I'm Frank Frangie, and you've heard me tell you how much success my daughter Amber is having with the Awaken 180 weight loss program. But Amber, maybe it's time you should tell them.
I think they'd rather hear from you, Dad. You're the radio guy.
Yeah, but in this case, you're the one doing all the work.
But that's the thing, Dad. It doesn't feel like work. The food is great. I never feel hungry. My coach, Mary, is so good, so encouraging. If you follow the plan, Awaken 180 really works.
Well, everyone I know that's tried it has said the same thing. The result is people not only look better, but they feel better. I've kind of known you your whole life, and I can tell you feel great.
I feel better than I have in years. I love that part. I feel so good. I have Awaken 180 to thank for that.
So you heard it from my kid, and you can feel great too. Just call 1-844-346-1800. That's 1-844-346-1800, or visit awaken180weightloss.com and start your transformation today.
XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
That's going to be a great week. No place I'd rather be than Duval. And that includes tomorrow, 4:15, General Manager James Gladstone. Again, you need to shock me whenever I mention the name Balky. But how refreshing is this? He gets it. Stand in front of the media and take questions. You know, it's not for us. It's for Jaguars fans. You get an understanding of what this football team is thinking. I had them bringing in 52 new players on a 90-man roster. I have them right here now with 25 new players on their 53-man roster. So James Gladstone tomorrow. And then on Thursday, it's almost like a treat with this being a non-week game. You know, no game this week. We're going to get an opportunity to watch him practice on Thursday. You know, so I'm thrilled about that. So good stuff. All right, I've had a few people ask me. Just let me run through it real quick because, sometimes you're under the impression that everyone's seen the roster, but a lot of you work hard and you're getting into your car and hearing about it for the first time. So I'll just run through it real quick, okay? 2 quarterbacks, Lawrence and Nick Mullins. The 4 backs that we've discussed forever, Etienne, Bigsby, and both rookies, and Tootin and Allen Jr. The newly acquired Diami Brown, right? Thomas Jr. returns. Parker Washington returns. Travis Hunter, your first-round pick. Austin Trammell on the football team right now. Trent Irwin did not make this team. Still think that's going to change. Tight ends, Hunter Long and Johnny Munt, newcomers to go along with Brenton Strange. Offensive line, 9 guys, okay, including 5 new offensive linemen. Remember, there was 6 who came here. They moved Fred Johnson yesterday in a trade. But Chuma Edoga, Jonah Monheim, Wyatt Milam, Patrick McCarry, Cole Van Lannon, Walker Little, Robert Hainsey, Ezra Cleveland, and Anton Harrison. Defensively, okay, Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, Devon Hamilton, Dewan Smoot, Colin Saunders, Austin Johnson, Emmanuel Ogba. Boy, those 4 right there. Smoot, Saunders, Johnson, Ogba. Okay? Ogba, 10 years in the league. Johnson, 10 years in the league. Saunders, 7 years in the league. Smoot, 9 years in the league. This is basically their final shot, right? This is their last opportunity. This is a young man's game in the NFL. And, to expect that all 4 of them are going to be very productive for you, I think is wishful thinking. But can you make the case that certainly you're going to get production out of 2 or 3 of these guys? We'll end up seeing. Eric Armstead, and then you had the 2 undrafted free agents. And Danny Strigo out of Minnesota, and B.J. Green, the second out of Colorado. Mason Smith on there, so 11 on the defensive line. 6 backers, Lloyd Olowokon Miller, Abdullah, and then the newly acquired Dennis Gardeck, as well as the drafted Jack Kaiser. 11 defensive backs, Lewis, Campbell. It's really listed as 10, but the 11th is Hunter. Lewis, Campbell, Savage, Braswell, Jarian Jones, Ray Lane, Antonio Johnson, Eric Murray, Buster Brown, Andrew Wingard. So, and the 3, the best special teams unit in the NFL. Logan Cook, Cam Little, Ross Matisic. So a little concerned about the return game for Jacksonville. We'll see. A little concerned. I think they'll be better, certainly when kicking and punting. Their Pro Bowl material there. How is the return game going to be? Only time will tell. 87-34 Ballou. O-line looks improved. However, I don't like the tight end room or the corners. Overall, doesn't feel much different than last year's roster. Really? I mean, 25 of the 53 are new. I think the tight end group is better than perhaps what a lot of people do believe. You've got to understand what Liam Cohen wants with his tight ends. He wants them to really be able to block. And I think Hunter Long showed some real ability when it comes to receiving the football. I think Brenton Strange is on a path where he could enter into the league as a top 10 tight end this year. If you consider his blocking ability, which is really, really good, it's his forte, and also his ability to receive. I think he's going to have a huge year. Only 3. Most teams keep 4. Most teams like a 4th tight end, maybe a 3rd running back. That's different here with this roster. So surprised with that. Cornerbacks, listen, half of the deal there is getting pressure. And we know that a season ago, the Jaguars were the worst team in the NFL in the pass rush win rate. And that came primarily from the fact that they got nothing from the interior and they got nothing from the backup edge guys. I mean, Hines Allen and Walker graded fine, but that was it. And they both had what? I guess Hines Allen didn't have double-digit sacks, but Walker did for a second consecutive. I want to say combined they had 17 and a half, 18 sacks a season ago. And if you're getting an interior push, you could have more than that this year. But that's half the battle. And it does feel like with Anthony Campanelli that we're going to see some blitzes. We've seen Devin Lloyd blitz. We've seen Ventrell Miller blitz. We've seen Jack Kaiser blitz. We've seen Dewey Wingard blitz. Are we going to see corner blitzes? Are we going to see safety? Well, Wingard is a safety. Are we going to see? I'd love to see Antonio Johnson blitz. Again, their standard D, he's going to be off the ball. But how much movement are they going to make right before the ball is snapped? I don't think they've shown everything so far in practice. Surprised that you're down on the corners. I actually think it's been a pretty good group. I mean, Jarian Jones could be your 4th corner. Think about that. I mean, they could start on opening day with Campbell on one side and Lewis on the other. And then you move Lewis inside when you go to nickel. Buster Brown could be your 3rd corner. Oh, yeah. Travis Hunter could be your corner 4. I mean, Jarian Jones, as good as he's been, could end up being your 4th or 5th corner, depending on how you look at it. And he just makes plays. I think he's going to find his way on the football field. So I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I am more concerned about safety than I do about corners. But my point is, if you're not getting a pass rush, I don't care how good you are back there. It's always going to be a struggle. All right, much more to get into. More of your calls, or make that more of your texts. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also on YouTube, it is 1010XL into the night.
Go! Your play-by-play home of Bulls Bulldogs football is 1010XL.
It's the home opener at Skinner Barco. The Bulldogs go for 3 in a row against Trinity Christian. Friday night at 7 on 1010 AM.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. No, you see, you get $150 in bonus bets after your first $5 bet hits.
Did somebody say hit?
Whoa, Ray Lewis? We were just saying if your bet hits.
Huh. You know I love a good form tackle.
We know, Ray. We know. Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Rebound Rehabilitation. 11 great locations across the First Coast, and they're just a click away when it comes to feeling strong and healthy again. If you need the best path to recovery, look no further than Rebound Rehab. Log on and check out one of their great 11 locations.
Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Wing Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? You have questions? Call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com, Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. One of the biggest changes we've seen in fine jewelry over the last 25 years has been the growth of jewelry designers. At Underwoods, we're the leader, bringing to North Florida the best names in designer jewelry. In fact, we carry designer lines in a similar way to how clothing stores carry designer labels. The difference is that jewelry designers have to be a little more timeless in their presentations because nobody wants to buy a fine piece of jewelry only to find out the next year it's gone out of style. That's why you'll find at Underwoods the best of the jewelry designer names, those that are tried and true and popular. Names like David Yerman, Roberto Coin, John Hardy, Marco Bichigo, Jude Francis, Lagos, Hippolyta, and a lot more are all available right now at Underwoods. So if you want the best looks in designer jewelry, stop by Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Jacksonville Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
Fence problems? The old one falling apart and leaning over? Well, if it's time for a new one, call Duval Fence today at 260-4747 for a quality job. Restore the look and privacy you expect. Trust the experts. DuvalFence.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Tough to believe college football. I mean, it's already here. We got games coming up Thursday night, Friday night, and then, of course, on Saturday. Now Lauren Stample will join me. Give you the very latest what's going on with Florida State. Tim Brando coming up on Thursday, we hope. It's always fluid with Timmy B, but it's also always consistent. Always makes time for us here in Duval. So a lot of college football coming up. The return of the Philly Godfather tomorrow night. He's been just cashing checks in so many different ways, so many different streams, including his book, but he's put out a lot of futures. So we'll get some futures from him. That'll be tomorrow night at 6:33. Rafael Esparza is now going to join us on Thursday. So we're going to bring you the handicappers. But, hey, this weekend, college football. What a slate. So we'll do that with the Philly Godfather tomorrow night and, get some of his futures as well. He won with LSU a couple of years ago. He won with Ohio State this past year. his futures have been good. So.
Hit with the Gators, national title. They just won.
He did that in hoops.
I think, what was it, 40-1?
He had them, and he had one. Was it St. John? He had one other. He had a school up east. I'm trying to remember.
Probably St. John's.
Yeah. 44-93 Blue were screwed if Trevor goes down, even for 3 weeks. Yes, you're correct. But I think that that's par for about every team. You can move me on a lot of things. You can't move me on this one. You're not going to win in this league with a backup quarterback. I mean, there may be a couple of exceptions. I look at Cleveland, but then again, Cleveland never wins anyway. What if you plug in the rookie? What if you plug in Sanders? Is he that good? And all this collusion talk, his brother cut in Tampa. And people, believing that because of the name. And I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. I still think he's got an opportunity to be a pretty decent quarterback. And who did they move? Kenny Pickett. They traded him, and they released who did they?
Tyler Huntley.
Yes, yeah. They
only
got
Pro
6
Bowler.
quarterbacks, man.
Yeah.
He's a Pro Bowler?
No, he was at one point in his career. I think when he backed up for Lamar Jackson.
I always thought he was a good backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And look at him now. He can't find a job. But, the Kyle Trask story is intriguing, right? And there was a wide receiver cut today by Tampa Bay. Let's see here. Trey Palmer. And there's been some talk that, hey, say what you want about Liam Cohen. He only brought one guy with him in Robert Hainsey. That's it. But this is where it's going to be really intriguing with the waiver wire as well as the practice squad. You've got all these new coaches and also front office administrative guys. The Gladstone connection back in L.A. I got to believe right now that there's some guys that have been cut in Los Angeles that James Gladstone's like, yeah. Either bring him in or put him on the practice squad. And the same applies with Udinsky in Minnesota and Campanile and Green Bay and Liam Cohen and Tampa Bay. That is, and what did they say? Collaboration. They're going to get something, they're going to throw it out there, and they're going to have a conversation. I hope there was a difference in opinion. I hope making this 53-man roster, when it came down to, spots 51, 52, 53, I hope it was a very fluid conversation where they didn't all agree on it. Because I think it's a good example to learn from with this brand new staff. If you're agreeing and you don't really love it and you're doing it, you know what I'm trying to say, just to try to appease, then you're going to get caught up in it. But this is new. And obviously it started with the draft and then it started with free agency, but now this 53-man roster. And, Gladstone has spent 9 years in this league doing just this. My understanding of James Gladstone is that his knowledge on what is going on with the 1,500 or so players that were cut today is probably as deep as anyone in the league. He just seems to be that type of guy as far as his evaluation. So we'll see what happens, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they bring in quite a few guys, not only on the practice squad, but possibly one or two or so that they get off the waiver wire to be a part of the 53-man roster. All right, we got a lot to do next hour, no doubt about it. Much more coming up on the Jaguars. Again, the text number, that's it. That's what I want to say, is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. And no number needed if you go to YouTube, except for when you type in 1010XL into the night.
Wow, this place is great. Home sweet home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When can we move in?
This is 1010XL.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret, Dandy is never frozen. Always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses. No dry, crumbly subs here. Only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little guy with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand and a quality sandwich. So do what I do. Stop in at a Circle K and make yours a Dandy today.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 26, 1990, Bo Jackson hit his 4th consecutive home run, tying an MLB record.
Deion Sanders going back to the wall, and it is gone. Bo Jackson.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Storms are part of every season. Make sure you're protected. Call American Electrical to make sure you have the best in surge protection. Don't lose your home electronics to a lightning strike. Call 737-7770 for American Electrical.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
With you tonight till 8. Tomorrow, a big day as well. James Gladstone will meet with us at 4:15. So I know it's new for you here in Duval, but you're actually going to hear from the acting general manager. How cool is that? That's coming up on Wednesday. Then Thursday, we get an opportunity to watch them practice out at the Miller Electric Center, which is pretty cool. Obviously, their game is not until a week from Sunday. That is different for Florida State. They're one of many teams coming up in action this weekend. We went through a Saturday where we had some football, including an upset in Dublin. But everything on the table now for the Noles as they've totally redone the stadium. And we're what now? 4 days away from Alabama. Now Lawrence Stample is with us. He's our Florida State analyst. Everyone's counting him out. You never were in a situation like that in your career at Florida State, but everyone's counting out this Seminole team. What do you think it's like for these guys as we get closer to kickoff on Saturday?
Listen, I think that as far as preparation, it's kind of too late at this point, right? So all of our guys have done everything that they needed to in the off season, in the spring, and all the training that it comes to that. Right now, it's kind of just polishing everything, making sure that they're healthy, getting ice baths, doing those things, polishing up some of the coverages that they want to go over and some of the offensive schemes. But realistically, it's game time. It's game time.
Yeah, and as I've been covering the Jaguars, every single day throughout training camp, it's a totally new staff there. And at the professional level, there were mistakes. There were growing pains. And it's not as complex in college football because it's not a full-time job like it is in the NFL. But I can't overlook that, Niall, that with all the changes in personnel and then an offensive scheme, Tony White's new 3-3-5 defensive scheme, again, you have to believe that there's going to be some growing pains.
Oh, there's definitely going to be growing pains, especially with, again, like Tony White's defense. I think that that's going to be something that you want to mature, but he has been able to go to Syracuse as well as to Nebraska and turn their programs around fairly quickly. So there's going to be some growing pains, but I think overall we're going to see hopefully some better things coming into this upcoming season and some things that we can kind of fix on the fly.
Besides their opening drive last year against Georgia Tech in Dublin, it felt like this football team in Tallahassee was always playing from behind. And when you do that, it forces you, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but certainly you can't settle in and run the ball the way that you would like. You're forced to move it in the air. How important is it, in your opinion, to I don't want to say win the first quarter, but come out early and get a stop defensively. Come out early and put up some points on the board.
It's key. It is important to be able to start fast and be able to be cohesive on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. But I think more importantly than that, this Florida State team as a whole needs to come out and just execute. If we are able to come out, not worry about the scoreboard, don't look at the scoreboard at all. Again, Jimbo, that's one of the biggest things he said. Don't worry about the scoreboard. You go out, you do your job. This team needs to rebuild their identity of who they are. I think if they come out in the first quarter, execute what they need to do, not worry about the score, I think that's going to be the best drive as far as being able to get the momentum that we need overall.
Against Division I opponents last year, Florida State averaged 13.1 points a game.
Yeah.
That is scary. That really is. Realistically, where can they take 13.1 points? Where can you take that in 1 year?
I think you could take it a lot of places. When I was there, I feel like when the offense is able to either make some small plays or some like kind of just catch up plays, it's going to create that momentum. So I think with Castellanos, I think that is a great opportunity for us to be able to say, okay, we can get a little bit of a momentum shift. We can get a first down. We can convert on a third down. And I think that is where we're going to see a little bit of that creativity. Again, it's making sure that we're staying healthy. But overall, if we're able to feed off of that, I think our guys can get some confidence to make some big plays.
I think today is maybe Thomas Castellanos' birthday. It was either today or yesterday, and he continues to be absolutely not short on confidence. We talked about the comments he made a few months ago, but he's doubled down on them, and he's even taken it farther, saying a lot of positive things about, this team, this defense, and I think the recent comments are more of him actually being a leader and believing in the guys around him. What have you made of what he said as of late?
Yeah, I think it's the same. I'm with you. I think as we're starting to go towards the season, things are starting to settle down. And he's realized, I think, especially watching him during training camp, he's definitely a leader. He's not necessarily the big vocal rah-rah leader, but he's definitely a leader. He can lead an offense. So I think as we're starting to dial things in, he's got some young players that he's going to need to come up and make big plays and do things. I think he's kind of honing in and allowing some of that tenure that he's had in college football kind of bleed throughout some of his players, so that way everyone can kind of settle down prior to this big game.
Florida State, Alabama, 3:30 coming up this Saturday. We'll be in God's country talking about it with the former national champion, now Lawrence Stample, will also play for the Cleveland Browns. And as we know, Florida State is a big underdog. Okay, your Florida State connections, mine, I'll start. I've yet to talk with anyone or text with anyone who believes they're going to win this game. What about you and all the people that you know? If you got it from anyone that, a big upset's coming?
Yeah, I'm not sure as far as being able to win this game. So, realistically, it doesn't look good. But one thing that I keep hearing is that Alabama's going to be out for blood and Alabama's this, Alabama's that. I want people to put some respect on Nick Saban's name. I understand that in July he did come on as a senior advisor, but realistically, he is no longer the head coach. In order for us to think that Alabama's going to just turn around, get rid of Saban, hire Kalen DeBoer, and automatically kind of create another dynasty for the next 17 years, next 10 years, is really unlikely, right? So they may have a good season, but I think that we are going to hopefully test them in some capacity. And I just want to make sure everybody understands that Nick Saban has officially retired.
Yeah,
right?
There's no doubt. And that's a great point because, I'm older than you, but growing up, outside of Gene Stallings and when they had that surprise Sugar Bowl national championship victory over Miami, there was a lull forever. I mean, it didn't work with Mike Shula. It didn't work with Mike Perkins. It didn't work with who's the guy they got out of Washington State? Mike Shula. Who's the guy they got out of Washington State though, who coached Ryan Leaf, and he came over and was boozing and Price. Coach Price. I mean, there were a lot of bad years for Alabama. I think that may be the only hope here for Florida State is to find out that this is not a great head coach.
Yeah, and also let's see how it looks for that dynamic between Kalen DeBoer and Nick Saban within the same room. We have to hope, at least on our end, that mesh isn't all that great, right? You have someone who is the absolute pinnacle of Alabama kind of overseeing and kind of possibly even undermining some of the stuff that he's doing. We'll see if it's a cohesive group and a cohesive unit, but at the end of the day, I think that we have a chance to at least have a game, and that is more than I can ask for because I think that we have way more upside than Alabama does going into this game on Saturday.
I mean, post Bear Bryant, and I said Mike Perkins, who's been with the Jaguars since its infancy. He's the son of the late Ray Perkins. He went 32-15. Bill Curry, 26-10. Gene Stallings won a natty. Mike Dubose, 24-23. Dennis Franchione, 17-8. Mike Shula, 10-23 before Nick Saban. So, yeah, they went through years and years and years of being under 500 or being very average. And I think that's what you got to hope for if you're, a Florida State fan. And this applies to everyone else in the SEC, that Kalen DeBoer is not that good of a coach.
Yeah, and I will say one thing I do want to touch on is going to be this defense from Tony White. Last year we struggled, but I think coming into this season with this 3-3-5 stack look that he likes and he's been able to really implement into these schools pretty quickly, I think it kind of tailors to our personnel, right? If a base defense doesn't really work and we don't have the personnel to be able to run forward down and run it well, then we can kind of lean on our linebackers a little bit. If our linebacker core is good, then we can lean on that. So I really like us being able to manipulate that just because our depth is kind of an issue. So at this point, we can kind of mix and match. Alabama does like to run the multiple tight ends, so we may see more of a base front this upcoming week, but I still love that we can kind of go in that bag and say, let's run a 3, let's have our linebackers like a Omar Graham, who I think will fit great in this defense, and be able to come scrape over the top and fill holes.
Yeah, Omar Graham is a guy that, we talked about, I think it was last week, or it might have been 2 weeks ago. There's not a guy in the Florida State football roster who improved more throughout the course of last year than Omar Graham.
Yeah, no, and especially when you have a Jason Jenkins, you have a Daryl Jackson and a James Williams on the left side. James definitely has to get a little bit better as far as the run. We'll see. Hopefully that happens this season. But we have some big guys. That's like a 6'6", a 6'5", and another 6'6" guy. We have a really good defensive line. If we can get after it on the pass, I think our linebacker core will lean. Last year, Alabama still ran the ball, but as far as pass is concerned, our defensive back is a little bit younger. But man, I'm gonna tell you what, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to at least have a game.
Yeah. One thing that Florida State fans I know are aware of, we've talked about it many times before, 4/5 of that offensive line, they're all redshirt seniors. Defensively as well, James Williams, redshirt junior. Jason Jenkins, redshirt junior. Elijah Herring, heard a lot of good things about him. Transfer senior. Jerry Wilson in the secondary, transfer senior. So the transfer portal, the names aren't like what they once were early on with Mike Norvell, but he's bringing in guys both offensively and defensively with a ton of experience. You just wonder how long will it take them to adapt to the new scheme.
Yeah, and again, especially when we had Jeremy Pruitt come in and he was able to really dial in that defense fairly quickly, I loved him for that. I love that he was able to come in and really throw a wrinkle that we had never seen and put it in place that so quickly. So I feel like when you have someone that can do that, I believe that Tony White can come in here, especially proving it over the last 2 seasons, can come in here and at least have our defense look good enough to be able to get a stop in order to get our offense on the field a little bit more often. And those are the small wins that we can have to get a game to then go into Kent State, to then go into our next kind of powder puff games, to be able to have our younger guys develop. That is going to be the best case scenario, is that we go out of Alabama healthy and we have a competitive game, if not win that game, possibly, and go into these next 2 games to develop guys to get ready for the rest of the real season.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. What do you see happening Saturday in Tallahassee?
I see hopefully possibly some rain happening, level the playing field a little bit. And I see us hopefully having a competitive game, having Norvell be able to watch over the team and be able to execute. That's all we need. I would be telling our guys, don't worry about the scoreboard. Let's go out. Let's play our game. Alabama, whoever it is, that's it. And one last thing, every time I think of Alabama and Florida State, I always think about coming off that plane after whooping Florida in the swamp and hearing that Alabama got upset in the Iron Bowl by Auburn.
Yeah.
Right? Every time I think about that, that's kind of what my brain goes to, because essentially we were playing Alabama all season. Right? After that 3rd game, we realized we were going to the Natty. We played Alabama every single game. And when we found out we weren't going to play Alabama, we were happy, right? We were excited. We were all happy that we weren't playing them statistically to win. But it makes you kind of wonder, what if we would have played Alabama in that Natty? I think it would have been a really good game, but nonetheless, we came home with the championship.
I remember watching that in a bar in Gainesville after you guys really beat the tar out of Florida there in Hogtown. But yeah, that was something. The return of the missed field goal for a touchdown. Yeah. All right, now Lawrence Stample, in your cleaning, give the very latest to our listeners what you have going on.
Absolutely. So as far as what we're doing, especially during this time of year, we're cleaning up everyone's houses, getting ready for this football season, getting ready for the kids that are away now that they're in school, getting people's businesses cleaned up. We're still offering that 20% off for any new clients that come in order for us to help kind of get your places spruced up. And yeah, you can reach us at 904-708-8802. And you can reach us on our website as well at nlscleaning.net. But yeah, we'd love to help anybody that needs some exterior cleaning, pressure washing, window cleaning, paver sealing, and repairs. We're all about it.
Always good to see you now.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Rick.
There he goes. Now Lawrence Stample won a national title in 2013. Business owner here now in Duval. And obviously he'll have his eyes glued on the television set at 3:30 coming up this Saturday. All right, let's get back to some Jaguars football as well. Florida State fans, you want to comment on anything you heard now Lawrence Stample say, you can, 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also join us on YouTube tonight at 1010XL into the night. Jaguar fans, a huge day as they have gone from 90 to 53. My count is 25 of the 53 players are brand new to this organization. You want to comment on what the Jaguars have done, you can reach us as well. We'll be with you tonight till 8 o'clock.
From the huddle to the perfect spiral.
We invite you into the lab so that you can truly learn the quarterback position.
The quarterback whisperer. He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drill. Wrapped up by George Moore Chevrolet and Tyson Sound and Security on 1010XL.
Garrett Scantling here, and once again, thanks to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, I'm back to training for the 2028 Olympics in LA. My torn hip labrum issue is resolved thanks to Dr. Doward, and Dr. Acevedo keeps my feet healthy too. Training and competing, that's what it's all about for me. And Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has me in top condition.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
If you missed it, get it on demand.
And you send those out on the line.
Find your 1010XL favorites where you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com. Channel 5. Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. Whether it's a long day on your feet, a demanding workout, or everyday aches and pains, you need relief that can keep up when pain persists. Aleve is here for you with longer-lasting body pain relief compared to leading OTC-branded pain relievers. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a fight for the last slice of pizza? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here for my friends at Clean and Freaks at Zero Res. Great time of the year to get your house Zero Resified. And right now, you can get your entire home clean from Jacksonville's Ultimate Carpet Cleaner. You'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $135. Plus, they're throwing in a free hallway and take $100 off the air duct cleaning. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, thinking of now, Lauren Stample, the very latest on Florida State, Alabama. Just did not have a good feeling about it. Yeah, I can't lie to you. Have a good feeling about the Jaguars 53, however. This football team, my goodness, man. 25 new players on my count. I got 23 on offense, 23 on defense. I'm counting Travis Hunter as an offensive player. If you were to put him on defense, it would go 22-28. But I'm putting him on offense, 23-27. So you got to believe they're going to add a few more offensive players when this is all said and done. Miami, last year, the Hurricanes, their leading receiver and rusher both cut today. Xavier Restrepo from the Titans let go. Damian Martinez cut by the Seattle Seahawks today. Laviska Shenault cut by the Buffalo Bills. He was supposed to be their kick returner, but he ended up being moved a little bit earlier today. So, well over 1,000. I think it's more than 1,600 guys end up getting cut today. Many will come back, 16-team practice squad, and we'll see. I hope right now the number one guy they bring back and put on the practice squad is Jackson, the running back. They're just heavy there with 4, but this guy has an opportunity. It was simply a numbers game for him, but he may, through his agent, have a better offer or a better opportunity where you look at the depth chart and say that that is in fact the case. Here's 2775. You said acting the general manager. He is the actual general. Okay. You are correct. I just got a bit excited, 2775, that he's actually going to talk to us. And that he's going to talk to us where it's not forced. And that was the exact question I did ask James Gladstone when he was hired here as the general manager. Will you talk? And I'm trying to remember his answer. He said, yeah, when, we think it's the right time, I will. Well, tomorrow's the right time. And we're going to get that opportunity. Looking forward to it tomorrow at 4:15. 0253 Blue. Wish that game with Bama was at night. Doak has a different vibe. Yeah, Florida State's schedule is so unkind. And I'm not talking about, the level of competition. I'm talking about times. There's no favoritism here. Of course you like this game at night. That gives the fan base another 4 hours to get liquored up and to get loud. How about next week? I don't even know who it is. It's a Cupcake. It's Kent State or whatever the heck it is. But that game's at noon. It's just like that's such an example of the power that Florida State has lost, right? There's really no other way to say it. If this was classic Florida State, you would put this game at 7:30. 8 at night now, and I'm just listening to people. I'm not going to the game. I'm not driving all the way to Tallahassee to watch them lose. Okay, it's just not going to happen. Call me whatever you want, whatever 4-letter word you want. I can handle it. I'm not driving over there to watch them get their ass kicked. But next week it's East Texas A&M. It's at noon. So everyone's complaining about the gouging of the hotels, and it happens on college campuses everywhere, right? 2-night minimums. Can you imagine that? You want to party with the alumni, friends that you haven't seen all year, and they drop this game on you at noon? If you're leaving here, when you leave, you leaving at 8 a.m.? You leaving at 7 a.m.? Good luck to you. You're better than I am. I'll admit it. You're much better than I am. Then I watched Stanford. Did you see any of that Stanford-Hawaii game?
Very little.
Stanford may be the worst team right now in Division I football.
Yeah. It looked like that. And Hawaii had never beaten them, and they acted like they had never beaten them. It was Stanford's in it for a long road this year.
I think that game on Saturday night starts at 10:30, and I want to say that's the same weekend that Jacksonville's in London for a 9:30 tip the next morning. Want to say that, may be wrong, but we'll see. But that's what I mean about the schedule. So, I mean, 2 Friday games, right? You got a Friday game at Virginia. You got a Friday game at NC State. Fridays for high school football. Speaking of which, our show Friday during high school football season is 4 to 6 p.m. on 1010. So, I'm with you every night, always on 92.5. That's always the case, 6 to 8. But during high school football season, I'll be on AM 1010. All right, and that'll be from 4 to 6. And that'll start coming up this Friday. High school football. Absolutely happening right now. 0976. Remember the story in the exchange on tape in the locker room about Mike Price and the hooker roll tide. Price, it's rolling. Yeah, that was a crazy, crazy story. It really was. And Mike Price never even coached a game at Alabama. If you remember that story, it was like a golfing event in Pensacola, somewhere around there. I think he got all liquored up and went to a strip club and then got caught with a hooker. And he didn't even coach. They just said, Mike Shula, you're in. But the only glimmer of hope is, again, that DuBose can't coach. Not DuBose, but DeBoer can't coach. Remember Mike DuBose? He was involved in a situation too. All those Alabama. I mean, I don't know what the hell went. Remember the DeBose? He was 24-23. Dennis Franchione 17-8. Mike Price never coached. Mike Shula 10-23 before he returned here. Joe Kine stepped in for a game in 06, and then Saban. God, Nick Saban 206-29. That is just incredible. 206. In 29, a lifetime winning percentage at Alabama, 87.7%. The guy went 120-18 in the SEC. And Kalen DeBoer, 9-4 last year, 5-3 in the SEC. Not good enough. And that's the part of this that if you were handicapping the game, if you're gambling on this game, okay, I can't get over that. 9-4 for Alabama is a disappointment. I think they're going to be as focused and they're going to be totally ready to go because they disappointed last year. 9-4 is not classic Bama football if you go back to 2007 on. Might have been 2007 when they played right here when Bowden beat Saban in Jacksonville. I think that was 2007 when that actually did happen. It took Saban a year or two to get things rolling, obviously. No pun intended there with Mike Price, which is one of the greatest stories I've ever heard. Back on AM 600 the ball days. 4704 Blue. I love the Chris Davis, kick six, returning against Baylor, one of the greatest plays of all time in the history of college football, but it robbed us of what was going to be the greatest championship game of any sport. Yeah, it's it's hard to argue that point. And what would that have meant if we had college football the way it is today? Right. And so many of these games through the, mid to late 80s, 90s, turn of the millennium, not always the best team won the national championship. That, in a way, is what is great about sports, is that the best team doesn't always win. However, if you played it out in a college football playoff, I think a lot of the national championship teams would have been different. I really feel that way. Where in every other sport, say what you want, but it still gets played out on the field or on the hardwood or on the ice. College football, It's always been that way. It's always been controversial. And I think it's only going to get better. I like what the SEC did starting next year, going to a 9th conference game. The ACC should do the same. And, just settle into the 5-11 model. Have the 5 conference champions and have the 11 best at-large teams. And who's going to argue with that? It's going to be absolutely sensational for the health of college football. All right, let's continue on, and we'll get back to some Jaguar stuff if you'd like to join us. 641-1010. That is on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also, tonight on YouTube, just go to YouTube and 1010XL into the night.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit barryorthopedics.com.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. We haul construction debris or property cleanouts for managers, owners, and realtors. We do it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Chip Davis, director of the Flounder Pounder Fishing Tournament. We are fast approaching our 16th annual tournament benefiting the Jacksonville School for Autism. With the help of our amazing community, we raised over $1.4 million the last 15 years. This year's tournament will be held at Palm Valley Outdoors on the Intercoastal Waterway. Captain's meeting is Thursday night, October 9th, and the tournament is Saturday, October 11th. I'm inviting you and your family to come out and enjoy our tournament festivities, raise some money, and support autism awareness. Special thanks to U.S. Army Recruitment Jacks for their support. Flounder Pounder for Autism 2025. See you there.
Jacksonville. Disrupted is here. From the PGA's cutting-edge Tourcast to game-changing sports science, technology gets its spotlight. The 27th of August. Get your tickets at disruptitfl.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
These are the last days for Monahan Jewelers store-wide 40 to 50% off sale. These are the biggest savings we could possibly offer, with everything on display discounted 40 to 50% off, ending Saturday, August 30th. We've bought so much brand new jewelry, we need to make room for it, and the only way to do that is to give you huge deals at 40 to 50% off everything. And the sale ends this Saturday, August 30th. Diamond jewelry, colored gemstones, gold chains, everything. Everything on display is 40 to 50% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Hey, Jacksonville Hicken here. I've been around the block or two, and Checkmate Coatings is who I'd call for my own place. They're my new MVP for stunning, long-lasting floors.
Brendan here with Checkmate Coatings. No massive overhead means top prices on top-quality pool decks, driveways, garages, and patios, too.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com today. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Kuhn Flowers announces their home holiday decorating team is now taking orders for the holiday season. This is Max with 1010XL. No more hassling with tree buying, untangling, and hanging burned out lights. Call Kuhn Flowers. They'll do it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This new regime has a little bit of a Tom Coughlin feel to it. Jason La Canfora notwithstanding. But you didn't get a lot of leaks out of the Miller Electric Center, did you? And I think that that's encouraging. I really believe that. Last year, there were just an insane amount of leaks coming from everyone, including the year began with Trent Balky telling Shad Khan this was the best team that the Jaguars have ever had. I mean, it was just one thing after another. But you got very little that is coming out, and that's good. I think that shows respect. I also think that shows fear. Got to keep my mouth shut. I want a job. I work for the Jaguars. It's a good gig. Buddies are asking. Friends are asking. Family members are asking. I'm not going to say a word. Not a lot of stuff came out. If you're missing it, or if you haven't been around, 53-man roster announced earlier today. 25 new Jaguar players on this roster. They are just gutting the Balky Peterson regime, which needs to happen. Again, that was a franchise that accepted losing. And hopefully that is not what this is going to be about. It does feel different. Guys who were cut, who were drafted here. Muma today, drafted in 2022. Tyler Lacey, drafted in 2023. How about 4 guys cut from last year's draft class? 4 guys. Javon Foster, Jordan Jefferson, Deontay Prince, and Miles Cole. So, Caleb Ransaw, that may be the biggest surprise with Ransaw. I absolutely expected him to be on the IR along with Jalen McLeod. And frankly, I have been making a case that both Buster Brown and Cole Van Lanen could have began the year on the IR. Remember, you can bring guys back. They have to miss 4 games. This applies now for Jalen McLeod. But the deal with Ransaw apparently is more significant than what I thought because he's gone for the year. You cannot bring him back. This ends up becoming a redshirt year for Caleb Ransaw. And he was their second overall pick this year. He was selection number 88. And I think he was a big part of this. I do. I think their thought was, and we know he's limited at safety, he only really worked at it after coming out of Tulane at the Senior Bowl. But that would be the one for me. That does stand out. All right. Let's see. I hate FSU, but I think the Bama game is going to be closer than the folks say. That is from Mr. Know-It-All on YouTube. CRS092, if you're going to go wine and cheese stadium, replacing the Cathedral Joe Campbell Stadium, it better be a good product on the field. Well, yeah, that's not that's not Norvell's fault. That's Florida State's fault. But Florida State doesn't have leaders. Florida State doesn't make good decisions. They never have. I mean, that can go back to the Jimbo deal. Jimbo quit. Why? He wanted his standalone building. They have a standalone building now. But they fought it. Now, Jimbo handled it the wrong way. He quit. He just stopped recruiting. But Florida State's never been good as far as their optics. Not only to Seminole fans, but across the country as well. I mean, that whole deal about leaving the ACC, what a joke. Win the freaking ACC. You're acting like you're too good for that conference? And you go 2-10? You go, they got left out of the play. Whatever. They all quit on him. He let 28 guys walk away from that Orange Bowl. 28 players. They quit on Mike Norvell. I don't know how he's going to survive this year. Ballou, ETN is RB number 1 in his prime. He will cook in this offense. Him and Trevor could both have career years. I tend to agree with you there. I've been saying all along that I think Travis Etienne is going to have a major, is going to be a major part of this. I believe it. He's not the future. I don't think Devin Lloyd is the future either. But this is basically show me years for both of them. And I think ETN in the screen game, yes. I still think the rookies even though they've never played, I think they're better in pass protect. And, I only use the word think because I've never seen it in a game that matters. But I've heard about it. And you look at Allen Jr., man, the guy ran consistently for over 1,000 yards. He also caught the football, I want to say, for more than 500 yards his last 2 years at Syracuse. And then Tootin just flat out flies. So that's wasn't some tomfoolery last week by Liam Cohen when he told us that only four are going to make the team and only 3 running backs are going to grab a jersey on Sunday. Is that a way of pushing the button? He also told us what? Waiver wire. They're going to go out and add more football players. Again, is that another way to motivate your football team? I don't know the answer to that question because we're learning about Liam Cohen. I can see him adding 1 or 2 players, sure, but I don't think it's a drastic number. I do not. This is a dumb question, but does Hunter take up 2 of those 53 or just 1? No, just takes up 1. Matter of fact, he's listed on both sides of the depth chart, both offensively and defensively. But depending on where you put Hunter, I put him on offense. So I have 23 offensive players, 27 defensive players. If you want to put Hunter on defense, then you would have 22 offensive players, 28 defensive players, 3 specialists. So I have 13 new players on offense, 12 new players on defense, 25 brand new players. I mean, wow. It is incredible to look at this team. We try to trade a running back for a safety from Keeter. I wouldn't be shocked if they added a safety. I think they have too many edge guys right now with 6. I think that's 1 too many. I wouldn't be surprised if that does occur, but, giving up a back, what are you going to get for it? That's what you have to ask yourself, right? What are you going to get if you give up Tank? What are you going to get if you give up ETN? Those guys both give you a better chance of winning against Carolina in a week and a half. You're a better football team with them than without them. And again, that's why this first game is so important for you as fans, because it's such a winnable game. Not to say they can't go to Cincinnati and win and beat you. I'm not saying that. But when you look on paper, it sticks out to you, right? It's like, that's a hole you got to win, right? That's a par 3 that's 110 yards away, no wind, no water. Put it on the damn green and lag a putt, then bury it for the par and get out of there. Par's a good score in a lot of situations. You need to beat Carolina. Okay? Tank and ETN give you a better chance to beat Carolina than trading for another position player who comes here. Now, that could change if you lose that game and all of a sudden, the season doesn't go the way you want, get closer to the trade deadline, then, yeah, it makes sense to add players or to add draft capital if it's heading that way. All right, much more to do with you tonight till 8 o'clock, then Hacker will join you.
At Keon Atlantic, the savings are back in session. You'll just need to follow these simple rules to make the most of your back to school. Step 1, switch out your car for an upgrade. Step 2, drive a new Kia starting at $20K. Step 3, make no payments for a whole 90 days. Hurry in to start back to school in a big way. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
If you're 35 to 75, you could get life insurance today. No medical exam needed. I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial. One call could protect your family for life. Call me today, 904-885-9566.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie, and I got to tell you, I can't fix anything. I would be so lost with plumbing problems if not for Duck Duck Rooter. But everybody knows to call the Duck. Well, I do too. Whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, septic, they handle all of it, and nobody does a better job than our friends at Duck Duck Rooter. Any of those needs you have, call them today, 904-862-6769, or go to duckduckrooter.com. If you've got problems, call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll handle it. I guarantee it.
This football season, Hurricane Grill and Wings is your game day getaway. Catch every play with the perfect drink in hand. Handcrafted cocktails like the Millionaire Margarita, Spicy Guavarita, Old Fashioned, or the Red Bullarita. Beer more your style to watch the games? Enjoy an ice cold Bud Light. Game day cocktails and Bud Light specials are here all season long at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find a restaurant near you at hurricanewings.com.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080. What do the letters AM and FM stand for?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In radio lingo, AM stands for amplitude modulation. FM stands for frequency modulation.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Cut day, the Jaguars down to 53, 25 new members to the 2025 Jacksonville Jaguar roster. How much of that will change over the next couple of days throughout the waiver wire, where the Jaguars do get an opportunity at number 5 for players who have been, waived. 4 years or less, you are waived. Released is 4 years or more, you are a free agent. You can sign with any team. So what will the Jaguars do around here in the next couple of days? That'll be interesting. Also, the 16-man practice squad. For me, the number one guy is Jaquindon Jackson. Find a way to get him on this team. No doubt. I mean, I think just a really good football player and a guy who got absolutely caught up in a numbers game. So, more guys who were around here let go. Tyler Lacey, Chad Muma, Javon Foster, Jordan Jefferson, Deontay Prince, Miles Cole, all let go. Former drafted players. The bad news, Caleb Ransaw gone for the year, IR. He won't be able to return this year. Jalen McLeod on the IR, another rookie. He is eligible to return after 4 weeks. They did release Eli Pancol. Injury waived is an opportunity they could bring him back. There are examples where Jacksonville's already done that this year. Cooper Hodges and Joshua Cephas. So we'll see what ends up happening. 28-35, what was Ransaw's injury? I have an idea of what it is, but the team did not officially tell us what it is, if that makes any sense. I don't do that often, but this is really the respect that I have for the Jaguars public relations staff. They give us a ton of information. If they don't want something out, they don't have to tell us. So I'm just going to leave it at that. 42-16, Muma, Jefferson, and Armstead ain't getting it done, so good riddance. Okay, well, Armstead's still around, and he costs a great deal. And, you know, all of a sudden, they just brought in guys who have a ton of experience. You know, as I said before, I bring in Hacker Nation. The one thing this is a relatively young team, except for what they've done now at defensive tackle. They've said goodbye to former fourth-round draft picks and Lacey and Jefferson. They brought in Colin Saunders Jr., who has 7 years experience in the league. They brought in Austin Johnson, who has 10 years experience in the league. We know Armstead has 11 years of experience in the league. Obviously, all the eyes are going to be on Mason Smith as he gets ready for his second year. Also, their additions to the edge, right? Emmanuel Ogbah, 10 years in the NFL. Dewan Smoot, his return, 9 years in the NFL. So 2 undrafted rookies make the team at edge, but certainly moves they made, including 2 in camp, bringing in guys with valuable experience playing in the NFL.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, Hacker Nation is getting set to take you beginning right now for the next couple of hours. What'd you make of today?
Yeah, busy day, exciting day. I think the more I made of it or the more I've dissected it just leads me to believe that if you had a closed-door conversation between James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, and Tony Baselli, you obviously thought of the job that Trent Balky did here was insufficient, because the fact that last year, the 53-man roster in 2024, and this year, the 53-man roster in 2025, and there are 27 new guys, 27 guys that were on last year's initial 53 that are no longer on this year's initial 53. That's a high number. I mean, that's over a 50% turnover rate on the roster in 1 year's time.
It's nuts. And, you know, depending on you look at it, you can maybe put an asterisk by Braswell because he played a game and Trammell because he played a game or a couple of games. But, you know, they were redshirt seasons if it was college football. So, yeah, you're right about that. And, you know, I also believe this, that some of it, Hack, is the acceptance of losing and just getting that cloud, getting that smell out of there. I mean, they didn't bring back any of their unrestricted free agents. And again, guys here, a couple of them, I think you can make a case, could have maybe stuck, but I think that that's the way they looked at it. Let's get rid of these players. I think the acceptance of losing with the former regime played into some of these decisions.
Yeah, the one that I guess if it would have happened last week, what I would have been shocked by was Austin Johnson and Colin Saunders in, Jordan Jefferson and Tyler Lacey out. But the more I thought about it, the more people you talk to and just watch the game. Austin Johnson was making plays out there. The other 2 guys, quite frankly, were not against, you know, starting caliber competition in the league. I know Jordan Jefferson had a nice game against Miami, but a lot of that was in the 3rd and 4th quarter against Miami offensive linemen that were cut today themselves. So that was the one that would have surprised me a week ago, maybe not so much now. It'll be fascinating, I guess, late tomorrow night into Thursday to see who they bring back on the practice squad. I mean, do you bring back Tyler Lacey? Do you bring back Jordan Jefferson? Are those guys going to get claimed? I mean, we always talk about how many guys are going to get claimed off of waivers. It's not as many as you think.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot, because a lot of guys don't want to use up another 53-man roster spot to put somebody else's guy on their 53. A lot of the teams will let waivers come and go, and then they'll start filling out their own practice squads. You know, I hear people saying, well, we're 5th in waiver order. Are we going to get this guy and this guy and this guy? You're not going to add 4, 5, or 6 players on the waiver wire. It's always a topic of conversation. It never happens practice squad is the next big event, and we'll start filling that out tomorrow.
Yeah, I think realistically, again, I'm going to leave the number at 1 1/2.
Yeah.
I mean, do you go over to under as far as waiver wire guys?
1 1/2. I go under.
So you think they had 0 or 1?
0 or 1.
Okay.
0 or 1. On the on the waiver wire again, that means he's got to go on your 53.
Absolutely, it does.
And I don't think they're going to add 2 guys to the 53.
All right, what do you got coming up?
Yeah, we're obviously going to recap a lot of what's gone on. Just talk about James Gladstone. Talk about the job he's done with this roster. Again, a massive turnover. And we are 4 days away from college football. Heck, we're 48 hours away from college football in some parts of the country. So Bill Bender of the Sporting News, Mike Huguenin, Zach Goodall of Swamp 247, a lot of college football tonight as well.
All right, have a good show.
Thanks, Rick.
He is Hacker Nation. He's coming up right now. That's going to do it for us. Man, what a crazy show. 53-man roster set for now. How much change is coming? Not to mention a 16-team practice squad. And that's going to be very important with this organization. I don't think there's any doubt. That's one thing I didn't speak on enough, but I kind of envision James Gladstone as really taking advantage of the practice squad to develop players for the future. Thank you to Niall Lawrence Stample. Thank you to Dylan Denmark. I'm Rick Ballou. We'll talk with James Gladstone tomorrow. So we'll have that for you tomorrow night beginning at 6 o'clock.
Start the season with a college football storm. The Hurricanes and Fighting Irish.